You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
My name is luca-zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. As Washington fusses over the Russia hoax for a third year in a row, a lot of other things are happening that don't get the attention they deserve. For example, the big tech companies have launched their fiercest attack yet on your right as an American to follow your conscience and to say what you believe. Unlike earlier generations of authoritarians, the tech moguls don't say any of this out loud. They're not honorable enough to state their intentions clearly. Instead, they drape censorship in the soothing banality of HR department cliches. Listen here to Mark Zuckerberg explain that the death of free speech in America is actually a really positive thing that we all need to get behind.
We're taking a more proactive role in making sure that all of our partners and developers use our services for good. We're very focused on making sure that our recommendations and discovery surfaces aren't highlighting groups where people are repeatedly sharing misinformation or harmful content, and we're working hard to completely remove groups if they exist primarily to violate our policies or do things that are dangerous.
Who knew fascism could be so chirpy? Groups that do things that are dangerous. What exactly does that mean? Dangerous like hurting other people? Or dangerous as in saying things that Mark Zuckerberg doesn't like or considers bad for business? Well, yesterday we found out Facebook released its latest enemies list. Alex Jones, Milo Yiannopoulos, Paul Joseph Watson, Louis Farrakhan, Laura Loomer, all of them were designated dangerous individuals and banned from Facebook and from its subsidiary Instagram. Alex Jones's company InfoWars was banned as well and described as a dangerous organization. Didn't explain exactly how. How dangerous is InfoWars? Well, Facebook believes it's so dangerous that you can be banned from using the platform, Facebook, just for sharing its content unless you simultaneously denounce it. Let that penetrate for just one moment. Think about it just for a second. Mark Zuckerberg is not simply censoring opinions. He's prescribing which political opinions you're allowed to have, which conversations all of us in this country can have about America. Keep in mind that nobody voted for Mark Zuckerberg. He's 34 years old. He's completely cut off from reality. He's worth $72 billion. And yet he can single-handedly make our First Amendment irrelevant after 250 years. Here's the most amazing thing of all. Our media think that's great. Now, journalists are supposed to defend free speech. You would think that was their job, since they make a living from it. But when corporate America issues an order, when Mark Zuckerberg says jump, their question is, how high, Mr. Zuckerberg? Listen to them celebrate Mark Zuckerberg and sell you out completely.
Why are they doing this now?
Well, it's a good question as to why they waited this long, but
yes, exactly.
Yeah, so Alex Jones has been banned from Facebook for a long period of time, but now they banned him. They banned his little underling, Paul Joseph Watson.
Now that they kicked them off the platform, that's great for now, but it doesn't roll back the clock.
Well, you have also excesses in the First Amendment and the Second Amendment right now. You know, I don't think that the forefathers said, well, you can say, all sorts of hateful things and spread it around the world, literally spread it through the Internet.
I have no issue with it at all. I want them shut down. I want them silenced. I want them muted. I think they are horrible for our society.
I want them shut down. I want them silenced. I want them muted. But don't worry. These people aren't terrifying or anything. Don't kid yourself. It's not just Alex Jones they want silenced, muted, shut down. Recently, the Poynter Institute, which is a nonprofit that's supposed to support journalism, put out a list of what they called unreliable news outlets. Can you imagine unreliable? Self-awareness in short supply in the journalism business. But Poynter crafted this list with the help of the Southern Poverty Law Center. So you can imagine who made the list. The Washington Free Beacon, the Daily Caller, the Daily Signal, the Washington Examiner, basically everyone who's not CNN or MSNBC or precisely aligned with their politics. Poynter called for advertisers to blacklist and therefore bankrupt these news outlets, crush them. Their fellow progressives applauded. As far as they're concerned, this is total war. What we're watching now in real time is this country become unfree. So the question is, who exactly is defending us in all of this? Us who might dissent from Mark Zuckerberg's view or think that NBC News maybe doesn't tell the whole truth all the time, or don't trust Mark Zuckerberg to control what we think. What about us? Who's standing up for us? Where are leaders in Congress? Where's the White House? Nowhere. As long as big tech isn't hassling them personally and directly, as long as their accounts remain open, they don't seem to care. They're fools. Will any of these people get reelected in a country where left-wing tech companies control the terms of political debate? Can you really win a presidential election if Google opposes you? No, you can't. Not a chance. Not right now. Without free speech, there is no democracy. It's time to stop lying about that.
Here we go. This is luca-zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Today's show, it's about exactly what you just heard. We are at the final stage of the New World Order, unleashing what is called exactly their agenda, the complete control of our freedoms, starting from freedom of speech. This is not just some crazy statement. This is not something like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? You can see it now. This is like now living in 1984. The book wasn't about a novel. This was about a reality. Unfortunately, a true story that it's happening, like a reality show. What we heard now, what happened to Alex Jones and some other like him, not just him, but he's probably the most famous out there. It is just a sample exactly what they're going to do and what they're doing to all of us who do not agree with this globalist agenda. Remember, the New World Order may not have control of the governments completely, but they control the biggest corporations. Corporations are now a union between governments and corporations, exactly what Mussolini said, the definition of fascism. After all, consider corporations like, Amazon, they are completely interconnected with our government, starting from the CIA. They have, after all, they provide servers for the CIA. And look at, for example, the power and the control that Facebook can have in our society, or Google. So the point is, they can control our speech, and they can shut us down. They can technically, completely make us disappear, especially in the digital world, just because they don't like what we have to say, or we support, or we share some of their people that they decided they need to shut down. I mean, at least I've been listening to Alex Jones for about almost 20 years now, okay? And I tell you, he's probably one of the most controversial person, but I tell you, you may agree or not with him, but it's not about hate speech. I agree with many things he had to say. He opened my eyes on many topics. Some other things I may have disagreements, but he opened my eyes on many, many topics, many things. I don't want to spend now too much time. But the point is, this is America, first of all. This is not Europe or some other countries, totalitarian regime where people, they're supposed to be a fear to exercise their First Amendment. Here we have this, or we had, because at this point it's going away, crippling every day, little bit more, especially not just through governments, because government, of course, is working hard to be sure that they can shut us down too, but technically they are constrained by the Constitution. Instead, these corporations, like Twitter, you can see Facebook, you can see Google, you can see YouTube, they have the control. After all, I agree one thing, it is technically a private corporation, even technically it's public because, it's in the stock market, but it's still a private business. But when it become public and is also using, maybe tax dollar, what is exactly the role of government to guarantee that we can have at least freedom of speech? Or maybe just that's it. That's going to be the future of the world. After all, few corporations will control every aspect of your life, starting from what you can say or what you cannot say. So now I want to just say my complete and total support to all the people like Alex Jones who are being banned on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. And I tell you, if you think this is not something that you may be, worried about, after all, who cares, it's Alex Jones, probably already made his money or maybe whatever. Guess what? This is not about money. This is not about anymore anything like this is not going to happen to me. It's happening to all of us. And it's only a question of when. In my little world, I'm nobody, okay? I'm just a regular guy that I had the opportunity, I don't even want to call luck, I had the opportunity to be on the air for the last 6 years on these airwaves and then, of course, on the internet. And I tell you, every time, right now I'm on Facebook, okay? And I just exercise my basic opinions on many topics. And I know I'm a little controversial. I'm not here to be pleasing everybody. I tell you what I think. And this is exactly why I came to America. I didn't come here just for, I love the opportunity for business or whatever. No, I came for one main reason. Something that I never had in Italy or in Europe. Was the freedom of speech and the Bill of Rights. All of the Bill of Rights, not just one. And the point now, that for me the most priceless thing. That's why I treasure it. That's why I realize what things I could not say. I mean, if I were still in Italy, probably 80%, 90% of my radio show that you can listen on YouTube or you can listen on the air, even just on the airwaves, not just on YouTube, you realize that I would be censored, I would be probably charged with hate speech just because I express my opinion. And by the way, in my speech, I never advocate for violence. Like I know Alex Jones never advocates for violence. He gives his opinions based on facts. Every time I listen to him, most of the times he brings some real facts. When it comes down to 9/11, when it comes down to, false flags or illegal wars, things that we were laughing years ago because we thought, this is so crazy. I mean, vaccines, the dangers of vaccines, or how the government, they're going to spy on us. I remember 15 years ago when he was talking about, for example, the new technology that in our home, in our households, like the utilities, like your fridge, your refrigerator, your computer can listen to you, spy on you, and now it's all on the open. So I can tell you, what they're doing now has nothing to do with hate speech. And by the way, it's supposed to be protected there too. Of course, until the hate speech becomes something that could become a violent threat, that's different. But when you have your opinion, this is something that you should be protected. Like, for example, in Europe, you cannot say that, for example, the Muslims have invaded Europe. And I'm just paraphrasing it. The former, famous actress, French actress like Brigitte Bardot, just for writing a letter to the editor saying how her France was completely changed by this wave of Muslim invasion. And she's also milder than I told you. She got sentenced for $16,000 about, and if she didn't pay, she would go to jail. Look, for example, right now what's happening in Canada. If it was a pastor who denied the fact that, according to his opinion, a transgender man is not a woman. That's his opinion. You may believe it or not. By the way, I believe that too. If you're born a man, you're still a man. I don't care how many estrogen you're going to put in your butt. You're still a man. Guess what? He was fined and he lost in court for 50,000 Canadian dollars. Think about it. And many, many other things. So it's happening all over the world. I mean, you see now pastors like, Pastor Anderson. I had him on my show many times. And by the way, I completely have a lot of things I disagree with Pastor Anderson. Not only religious belief, but the way also somehow, is so hardcore on his Bible. That's fine. But, he's always welcome on my show. I like him on many other issues when it comes down to, basic standing for the Bill of Rights. When it comes down to his position of a Baptist church, fundamentalist, I don't agree with him. That's fine. But you know what? I'm not going to ban him. I also invite him. I like him to have him on the show. That's what's supposed to be the spirit of America. Freedom of speech, okay? That's a fact. Instead, Pastor Anderson now is being banned all over Europe. Cannot even travel anymore. They arrest him if he goes there. So my point is, this is serious. This is really now something that people might understand it's going to happen not just to the big names, but now it's happening to everybody who are associated to them. For example, in my little world, Facebook, my main account, luca-zanna, guess what? I've been banned 60 days, 30 days in a row, for a total of 60 days. Just because what I said that according to the facts, and also my humble opinion, first of all, screw the Pope, because I believe truly this Pope especially, Pope Francis, is a complete globalist, communist Pope, just part of this global government agenda. And more important, I said, also him, the Pope protecting, and all his cardinals, that many of them, by the way, they've been found guilty, like a number 3 in Australia, I forgot his name, cardinal, is being found guilty just last month of sex crimes against minors. So it's a pedophile. Just because I said that, bang, 30 days banned. Now, they're making a point that if you share videos of Alex Jones, you will be banned too, unless in that share you denounce it. This is like the Inquisition of the popes, by the way, pretty much the same. When the kings or the popes, they could pretty much put you in jail or cut your tongue if you disagree with them or if you offend them. Now, they cannot cut your tongue yet, but they can somehow shut you down. And people say, you know what, after all, just keep your mouth shut. You know what, no way. Facebook, I will use it till I can, till the last minute, to spread first of all, what I believe is the truth. I don't believe there is an absolute truth, but I tell you, whatever I tell you is the truth. I did my research. I may be wrong, but at least I try hard. I don't follow somebody else, brainwashing, some sort of, propaganda. I try to do a research. And so if I'm wrong, you tell me, and I'll be happy to admit it. But my point is, I share what I think is the truth, and more important, I will not be silent, afraid to being blocked. I couldn't care less. We need to stop to feeling trapped now by the fear, because somehow we cannot even open our mouth anymore. Remember, Facebook needs us more than we need it. I can live without Facebook. I can do my life, no problem. Why I go on Facebook? Because I believe truly I can still use the machine to somehow destroy the machine, or at least to wake up more people around us. And if one day I wake up in the morning that my account, or my accounts, they will be blocked, so be it. But I'm not going to be silent just because some little neo-Nazi behind the screen working for Zuckerberg, whatever is his name, is going to censor me. I'm not going to live in fear of that. They need to understand that without us, they'd better find the real job. So now this is a little bit of a break. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Do not go away.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, we are back. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca-Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. I want to say something, one thing talking about freedom of speech. K-Talks, I'm not saying because I have to. Nobody told me to say that. And I know Mr. Rubin, the publisher, never asked me for it. But I'm telling you, it is the place where I can have guests and topics that normally I would never dream. Seriously. And I hope you appreciate it. I hope the listeners that you are there do your part to at least treasure it, to at least support it. Because we can say things that, I tell you, not just Europe or the rest of the world, but many other commercial stations. Don't get me wrong, commercial stations, they're doing their job. I'm sure they do great music and they do other great talk show. And, you can get a lot of political, but you get your left, you get your right. Here it's not about right, it's not about left. It's about things that normally you have no clue even to talk about on any other station. I'm sorry. I don't want to try to put them down, but I know it's true. So, let's continue. I want to keep this alive. This is so important. The internet, through this, social media, we are controlled by big corporations, they're controlled by these globalists like, Zuckerberg or whatever. We know that freedom of speech is dead. Now, what we have left, this radio, and I want to use every second of it. I don't know how long I'm going to be around, I'm telling you. I'm doing my best. I have a lot of things in my life I'm trying to do. I'm just a person, okay? This is almost like my voluntarism. This is my act of love. I could now go and spend time enjoying myself and doing some other things for my family. I try to say, okay, this is also something I'm doing for my family because indirectly I do it for whoever is after us. Coming, think about it. In 20 years from now, 10 years from now, if we don't stop this global fascism, this new world order fascism, what type of future they're going to have, our sons and daughters? Think about it. Now, one thing I'm really concerned, and I tell you, I've been talking about that almost every Sunday now, but unfortunately it is so and more real. This Muslim wave of not just violent in a physical way, because that's pretty much their goal, or at least that's the instrument they will convert you or shut you down. But also how all these politically correctness start to completely try to freeze your thoughts, your opinions when it comes down to the Muslim cult. I don't even call it a religion. It's a cult, in my opinion, okay? When you read, first of all, parts of the Quran, wage war on non-Muslims and kill them until they submit. The only religion is Islam. Quran 839. Go find out. Tell me something. What you want to talk about that? And then you have, of course, Facebook that is made it public, that they want completely be sure that if you say something bad about the Muslim religions, just the fact, just look at history. Just look at their prophet. Was a bloody, pervert. He killed more than 600 people in just one day, according to the book. And the goal was, if you don't convert, you have two options. Or we chop your head, or you will pay a tax and will become a B citizen. And then, of course, what is the system? Let's spell it out. It's a theocratic system. That means they don't recognize civil society. They don't recognize the Constitution, Bill of Rights, or whatever else you live in, which part of the world. They recognize that Allah and their prophet is it. And their religion is also their laws. That's why Sharia law is so fundamental. And people say, there are some good Muslims and there are some bad Muslims, they are extreme Muslims. I'm sorry. If you are a Muslim, you are a Muslim, period. If you are not Muslim, that means that you were born Muslim, but you don't care. You're just a man or woman. You mind living your life. That's fine. You're just like me. I was born Catholic. Doesn't mean that I'm Catholic. I'm not Catholic at all. But my point is, if somebody professes to be a Muslim, there is no halfway. You must follow the footsteps of your prophet. At the end, you may not be the one, lifting the scimitar or the knife to chop the infidel head, but you will support it. You will support Sharia law. You will support banning, alcohol, or banning women be free to exercise their beauty, to express their beauty, to live free like they're supposed to be. Or at least have an option. If you want to cover up yourself like a mammoth or, dress up like a little penguin, I don't care. Couldn't care less. But you cannot force or coerce psychologically or with violence other people to do the same. You cannot say, you join us, you became a Muslim. Now, if you become an apostate, or whatever it's called, if you leave the religion, the cult, you have to die. That's what it is. It is in the Quran. if a Muslim decides to remove himself from this cult, must be killed. That's it. So, that's their card. It's happening. Now all this violence happening all over Europe. Look in Italy, look in France, church burned. You have attacks after attacks. We have, it's almost, impossible to catch up all these things, okay? I mean, I can tell you every day how many news I can find out. Just in Europe, but also here, church burned. Villages completely burned, massacred. Nigeria, how many people died, there wasn't an accident, were murdered in Nigeria by Muslims. I already talked to you about, you already know from mainstream, maybe a little bit, not much, about, the Sri Lanka mass murder that these bastards have done. Of course, the media don't talk much. But now this is happening in, by the way, it's happening in Pennsylvania. Because people think, this stuff, it's happening only when you go to some, let's say, extreme countries, like, Saudi Arabia, things like that. By the way, Saudi Arabia being on the panel for the civil human rights at the UN, what type of joke? Okay? But listen to this garbage. This is in Pennsylvania from Fox News, okay? 1 second. Because I need to tell you, this is scary. It really freaks me out more than everything else. By the way, these useful idiots, they are not here by themselves, that they are out of the blue, they have all this power. The New World Order is using them as the destructive hand. Okay? That's part of the plan. Muslim religion was chosen by the globalists, by the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, to create this destruction and this New World Order. Okay? So that's the story. That's the story. I want you to be clear. This is not just some spontaneous things that happen. This is unfortunately something that it was completely planned long time ago. So I want to be sure that. Now, I want to try to find this little clip because this is very, very serious. Children in Philadelphia, Muslim society, we will chop off their heads for Allah. This is your religion of peace. Okay? Listen. And I probably, I need to translate. They're talking in, but this is from mainstream. It's not some, alternative, conspiracy theory. This is a Fox News as mainstream, lamestream you can get. Okay? Listen to this. And by the way, let's see if I even can translate because this is kind of, let's see, maybe we can put it in English. Okay? So here we go. Let's see this kind of, by the way, YouTube is blocking everything here. I'm having a hard time even to put it out. Okay. Yuma Day, Muslim American Society, Philadelphia, 2019 of April. Those who accept humiliation, those who reject oppression are the ones who assert their existence. They're singing as little kids, they're supposed to talking about love and peace and be friends. Rebels, rebels, rebels. Have a little music. The women dress up like, Lord of the Rings, or maybe, Jedi. The blood of martyrs protect us. Paradise needs real men. Land of the Prophet Muhammad's night journey is calling us. Our Palestine must return to us. O Saladin, your men among us. Shame will be washed away. Unit force and the Quran, all free people. We must persevere no matter what happens. And with the help of our Lord, day will follow night. Take us on ships until we liberate our lands, okay? Until we reach our shores and crush the treacherous ones. Okay, so they want to kill. Blow, O winds of paradise, flow, O rivers of martyrs. Okay? My Islam is calling. Who is going to heed its call? Rise, O righteous ones. Our martyrs sacrifice their lives without hesitations. They attain paradise and the scent of musk emanates from their bodies. They stink like camels, by the way. They compete with one another. Will Jerusalem be their capital city, or will be hotbed for cowards? We will defend the land of divine guidance with our bodies. They will sacrifice our souls without hesitation. We will chop off their heads. We will chop off their heads. We will liberate the sorrowful, blah, blah, blah. We will lead an army of Allah, and we will torture, and we'll... This is insane. This is insane. This is happening not in some sort of a village of some sort of a, country I cannot even pronounce with ISIS as, top leader. No, this is like in exactly Pennsylvania, okay? Philadelphia Muslim Society. That's it. Now, it's all, by the way, you see the way they are dressed up, the way they talk, more important, the content. You can be dressing up the way you like it. I don't care. But the point is, when they dress up the way they do, they're not just happy with themselves. That's the problem. They want that you are forced to follow their belief, their cult. So much that if they see, for example, a woman that is wearing, like, for example, I don't know, like a skirt or something that could be little provocative, beautiful. I mean, we are no beast. You're supposed to behave. Not just because a woman is dressing up a little bit, showing some of her skin, you have the right to go there and rape her. But guess what? In Germany, Muslim migrants say it's 100% a woman's fault if she's raped while wearing a little skirt. This is, by the way, directly from Paul Joseph Watson, that is being banned too on Facebook. Okay? This is serious. And you can listen to them. Let's see if I can get the German part here. So, for example, I just told you the short story. I don't want to start to put German on the airwaves. Okay? Bottom line, it's a woman's fault. And it's not just one crazy nuts out there. This is our young people, older people. Look at this one, for example, is a younger guy. You think, he's kind of probably out of this middle-aged mentality. And he says it's 100% the woman's fault if she's got raped just because she's dressed maybe in a way that shows some of her body parts. That's it. I mean, even just the skin, the legs. So that's my point. Now, I don't want to stress too much on it's just an hour show now. I don't do any more 3 hours. I don't have the time. But let me tell you something. The New World Order had chosen their attack dogs. And these are exactly them. The Muslims. The Muslims, they are used as an element of this sort of stormtroopers to destroy everything they can on their path. To create this one world religion. Look at the Pope. The Pope is part of it. He already decided. This Pope, don't get me wrong, even not the Pope, but this Pope for sure, he is the one who has chosen that to sacrifice everything from independence, sovereignty, and of course, even, I'm not Catholic, but I tell you, if you listen to any Catholic, understand that if you're truly a Catholic, this Pope is an heretic. This Pope is out of his mind. To think that now, the Muslim is a religion of peace and we're all the same religion and the same. This is not the point. They want to have one world religion. That's it. So, all I want to do is this. Please, don't underestimate what's happening. You may be people that maybe they're not really interested sometimes, that you just think that, you got too many beautiful things to do in your life, and that's great. But this something 10 years from now, even in America, many parts of our country, they already changes so much. Look what happened. Look what's happening in parts like Minnesota or other parts, many parts of America. That now, the demographics are changing so fast that you cannot even speak any more English. It is not about, I'm from Poland, I'm from Italy, I'm from Mexico. That would be the easy way. It would be bad, but not even that bad. Now what they come down to, they're coming to, especially these Muslims, that they come here from Ethiopia or Somalia or other countries, they are taking over not just linguistically, but also the worst part is where their belief. They will make you feel like you have to follow their laws. That's the point. Okay? So much that some of them now they're taking over positions of power. Think about politicians. We have them already in Congress, but we have even more at state level. We had also that policeman in Minnesota, let me see if I can find them, who killed this woman, this innocent woman, just because he freaked out that he saw that she was probably in pajamas or undressed or not dressed perfectly like he wanted. He just shot it. And by the way, he was sentenced, he was found guilty. It was not just some sort of, I can find you the name, I will. I don't have it all in front of me, but I tell you, this son of a gun, okay, is disgusting, subhumans. So much that he was found guilty, and the city, the police department, had to pay $20 million. That's the point. That's the point. To the victims, to the family victims, okay? All right, little break. Now we're going to other things. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna. Do not go away.
Are you ready to get lost in lust? Immerse yourself in a thunderstorm of emotions and passion. Order John luca-zanna's new book, Perfectly Crazy, 69 erotic visions and love poems with forbidden erotic Italian phrases. Perfectly Crazy by John luca-zanna. Available all over the world at Amazon.com and www.zanna.us.
Here we go, we are back. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with luca-zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM and also 104.1 FM. Before we go to another topic, one more news. British activist sentenced for denying existence of moderate Islam. Let me read it again. British activist sentenced for denying existence of moderate Islam. What did I just say right now? The speech that I just had a few minutes ago before the break. I just told you that, I don't believe in moderate Islam. I believe that if you are truly a Muslim, you must follow the footstep of your prophet. And that those are not moderate. You can just pick and choose what you want. So this is really serious. For this speech, if I were in England, okay, think about it. If I were in England right now, I would be sentenced. Now, Robert Spencer had previously blogged about the Franzen case, okay? That's what he wrote. What they were really doing was calling attention to Muslim rape gangs which have operated freely in Britain for years because police and other authorities were too afraid of being called racist to do anything about them. But that's hostility to Islam and Muslims. So Franzen and Galking must be imprisoned. So what happened? Jaida Franzen, 33, was found guilty of stirring up hatred during a speech about Islam in August 2017. She was also convicted for separate comments at the Peace Walk in the city. Convicting Franzen of Moat Avenue in Donaghey, County Down, a judge said that her words were a general vehement attack against a religious group. The speech was made during the Northern Ireland Against Terrorism event 2 years ago. Now, what did she exactly say? She said that the court heard that Franzen told those gathered at the rally that there were no moderate version of Islam and these people are baying for our blood. She added, Islam says every single one of you wonderful people here today deserves to be killed. She said that the Islam says that every single one of you wonderful people here today deserve to be killed. That's what Islam says. These attending the rally were then told it was time for the world to come together against the one common enemy. The judge told the court, I'm satisfied these words were intended to stir up hatred and arouse fear. Think about it. What is untrue about that? The Quran does command the deaths of infidels. The non-existence of moderate Islam is a point asserted by countless Muslim and non-Muslim leaders. That's the point. So, now she's going to jail. Now, this is not just she got a little fine, she's going to jail. By the way, she even get a fine. So this is my point. You see what we are? That's England. That's not Saudi Arabia. That's not some other Muslim countries. That they chop your head directly. But right now, we're here in the U.S. and they're trying to destroy our Bill of Rights. Meanwhile, through corporatism, between these corporations like Facebook or whatever, they're pretty much doing it. They're destroying our rights. Can't even talk anymore. They ban you. There's censorship.
But meanwhile, they want to go more and more deeper. Now, that's enough about Muslim, okay? I got enough. You got the idea. But the point is, this is serious. I had a nightmare years ago, I'm telling you. Years ago, very vivid. And I tell you, this is it. I was in my, probably, I don't know, older, maybe 60s, 70s, I don't know. I wasn't a kid anymore. Not because I'm a kid now, 50, 51 almost. Okay, but anyway, I was at my next stage. And I was back in Rome, maybe to visit, just to see. Because I know I'm not going to go back to Rome for a long, long time. I'm not going to go back to Italy for a long, long time. I have nothing to miss there. I have my mom I'm trying to bring, but that's another story. The point is, when I was back in my dream, or nightmare, to Rome, I could not even recognize anymore the city. I don't go to churches, I'm not a Catholic, whatever, but I could not see anymore a cross. I could not even see anymore a real church. And I asked to this woman who had some sort of a stand, selling ice cream close to the Tiber River, what's going on here? Oh, you can talk too loud, don't talk too loud. Because I said, what's going on? No more churches, no more crosses around here? We can talk about this. What do you mean? They are in control now. So I look around and I see that what's going on. There was a complete new occupied Muslim town. It's already now, by the way. You can see it. How many mosques you have in Rome. They're taking over. They already removed the crucifix from the schools. And I don't care really personally, it's your choice, but the point is people should have the freedom, especially in Italy. They've been Christians for many, many years. You can't go there and say, now I remove that because I don't like it. So the point, this is the reality. And I woke up and I was pretty depressed, I must tell you. I realized that Italy that I knew was completely gone. And that's not just Italy, that's the world. Probably the rest of Europe. Maybe America. But we can still do our part. That's why I'm here on the air. That's why I'm not afraid. That's why I'm not here, paranoid about, Facebook is going to censor me. Somebody's going to send me, I don't know, a death threat, whatever. Bring it on. Okay? I'm going to be dead anyway. Don't you understand? We're all going to die one day. The difference is how we're going to be remembered. The difference is how we're going to live the rest in eternity. Whatever belief you have, if you believe there is a life after this, bring some honor. Bring some respect. Don't bring cowardice. Don't bring, think about to have the fear is going to compromise the things you can do today. I hate only one thing, that I have things that I didn't do, maybe because I wasn't sure, or maybe because I have regrets. I don't want to have regrets. So we're all going to die. That's a fact. Now let's think about how can we do the best, use the best time we have before we go. For me, the best time is to try to stop evil, is try to stop this cancer, try to stop the New World Order, try to stop all these bunch of troglodytes, middle, ages, before Middle Ages. I mean, tell you, these people are before Middle Ages. Cult followers that they are ready to destroy every resemblance of our rights. We're talking about the Muslims. That's it. Sorry. I'll tell you again. So that's it. That's why I'm here. If you don't like it, I don't care. I will continue to speak up till I'm alive. All right. Now, change topic. There was an attack in at a synagogue in San Diego. I guess it was San Diego. A couple of weeks ago. Probably you heard about it. And, San Diego, you think how they can even, that attacker, he was a young man. He had an AR-15. Still kind of weird. How can he find an AR-15 when one of the most gun-controlled part of the world, at least in America? And there was this savior. In this case, a man, was a combat vet, who stopped the synagogue shooter with just yelling. Okay? I scared the hell out of him. How? I read you this article from the Daily Caller. The man who fired a semi-automatic weapon inside the Shabbat or Poway synagogue in San Diego on Saturday froze, dropped his gun, and sprinted to his car when he saw Oscar Stewart came barreling toward him, yelling so loud the priest at the neighboring church could hear. "Get down!" Stewart yelled, according to his wife, and others who were at the scene. "You MF, I'm going to kill you." Okay? Can't say the whole word. We're on the air, okay? So, and keeps going. Bottom line, what happened? Others who were there later told him it sounded like 4 or 5 people were shouting. He thinks maybe an angel was standing behind him and speaking through his voice. I don't know about the angel, but for sure he was yelling loud. When the shooter ran, he immediately gave chase. Stewart, 51, told the Daily Caller on Sunday he doesn't remember any conscious thought from the moment he heard the gunshots until it was all over. He just acted on instinct to stop the shooter and prevent him from leaving so he could hurt more people. He couldn't hurt more people somewhere else. The Iraq combat veteran said his military training kicked in. Now, there is more than that. Let me tell you, a Kingman First on Force, self-defense training facility, by the way, I created, founded, and I teach self-defense. We have in our self-defense, empty-hand self-defense class and curriculum, level 1, one of the first things that we teach, it's called the combat or the warrior yell. Exactly, the warrior yell. Sometimes people think it's kind of a crazy stuff. Maybe it's kind of, come on, teach me how to kick and punch and blah, blah, blah. That part is fine. The point is, you have no idea how much your yell can be important. What we call the warrior yell can be important if developed to create a psychological shocking effect into your opponent. Something that you should be able to do on demand, using, of course, your real also adrenaline and fears channelized in a way that now you can somehow put it out. And the moment before you strike, you deliver the yell that can give you also the advantage to put your opponent in some sort of almost state of shock. And that's exactly the proof how it was done in a very professional way, I must tell you, because it worked by this veteran, combat veteran in San Diego. The warrior yell is powerful. And I tell you, I want to do a seminar. It's going to be free on our kingdomfirstonforce.com. You can go there. We have a YouTube channel, okay? And I want you to take a look. You will check it out because you want to see there now exactly when I tell you in details how to develop this warrior yell, how much powerful can be. It is not just something about to, create some commotion. It's about really to shock your opponent while you're going to strike him at the same time. But if you cannot practice that before, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you, this is not something like you do it, oh, I will do it. Trust me, we are conditioned by society. We are conditioned to that yelling is not good. When you're a kid, Mama say, don't yell. The teacher said, don't yell. And probably that's fine in these situations. But we have moments of our life that our primordial instinct must prevail. Primordial survival instinct must prevail. And in this case, yelling is fundamental. So it's something we should be able to do from 0 to 10 on demand every time. And when we do it, we don't just yell. We yell with the warrior spirit. Our face must transform. We almost must shock just looking at our opponent and yelling at him for a moment or more. We may even really shock him. After all, this was a grown-up man, 51-year-old combat veteran, and in front of him he had some psychopath, 19-year-old, teenager with a weapon that he could have definitely used the weapon, against everybody. But instead he froze and stopped and started running just because this man knew how to yell as a warrior that he is. So that's my point. So please, be conscious about the potential we have to stop evil, not just with our body, but also with our mind and also with our yell. Now, one thing I want to say, you can, practice, but you gotta do it in a way you mean it. I would like to yell now in front of you on the radio, but I don't want to break your eardrums, and more important, I don't want to get on this microphone and jump up all the freaking, let me try. I'll play. If I'm too loud, I'm trying to slow it down with put it down with the software. Let me see. Hopefully the station doesn't hate me. Okay, right now, you're looking at somebody. Somebody is somehow there. He may provoke you. He may ready to be attacking you. Depends the situation. Like in this case, at the synagogue, what happened? He already shot somebody. So at this point, this man, the savior, this guy, this combat veteran, he just decided he wanted to charge him, even without being armed. He charged him, and he started yelling at him. And he told him, "You MF, I'm going to kill you." Even if he had just one finger or his teeth, that's what he would have used. But that was the combat mindset, by the way. That's another story. So right now, you go from 0 to 100. Let's say you're attacking me verbally, you're calling me names. I completely ignore you. I keep the distance. I don't want to give you any hint. I'm ready to fight back. And you keep calling me, and now you start to cross the line. You start to advance towards me. You start to be ready to attack. Let me position myself a little further from the microphone. I'm sorry, okay? My gosh, hopefully I didn't break the microphone. Anyway, I was even too loud, but this is exactly the idea. Out of the blue, you yell like a Viking. You yell like a Roman soldier charging the enemy. Okay? That's you put all your instinct out. For that split second, your opponent will freak out, I guarantee you. But then you gotta use the moment, seize the moment, and attack and strike. That's the point. Now, enough about the warrior yell. If you are interested, come and join us, our self-defense and also Krav Maga classes at Kingman First Zone Force. We are located 3001 Stockton Hill Road, unit number 1. www.kingmanfirstzoneforce.com, where self-defense is a human right, and also the first lesson is free. So you can come. What we give you the first lesson is all the techniques, all the different information, how to avoid that violent confrontation in a scientific way, how to be developing awareness. And by the way, you know what I'm going to do? I may probably do it next Sunday on the air. So you're going to have that information wherever you are around the world. But meanwhile, I want to be sure you understand. Self-defense is a human right. You have the right to express yourself, to be yourself, to mind your business. And who's going to protect the right? Don't count on the government. The government most of the times is the problem. So you have to defend yourself, and maybe other law-abiding and decent human beings can defend the innocent. You may be the person defending that innocent bystander one day. Okay? Because maybe somebody's trying to just kill him, or, just because they don't like his color or the color of his skin, or maybe just because they don't like what he has to say. You have that opportunity to also defend their right of life and, of course, liberty. So that's my point. All right, we're almost at the end of today's show. I want to remind you that also we are now certified and affiliated with the Federal American Krav Maga Federation. We do Krav Maga classes at Kingman First Zone Force. I'm really, really excited. And by the way, just a little note about the warrior yell. This is not just something we made up. This is, by the way, a technique. The yell that can kill is developed by, in Japan, by karate martial artists. But the difference that their technique takes 10 years to develop. We don't have 10 years. We want to give you the information, the opportunity to create a technique, simple, practical, that you can practice maybe a few days, and you're going to have something very powerful that can help you in a violent confrontation. So, we welcome you here at Kingman First Zone Force. Be ready also to go to kingmanfirstzoneforce.com and check us out. We're going to start now also our online long-distance classes and free seminars, by the way. That's going to be amazing, okay? All right, what else to say? What else to say? I am back also today, finally, on my main Gianluca Zanna account. Not big on Facebook. I'm not really counting to be there too long. I'm telling you already. I know that pretty sure I'll be blocked again for maybe another 30 days or maybe permanently, but I don't care. I use Facebook, as I said, till I can to expose Facebook, to expose the New World Order. Facebook is a CIA global government control environment where pretty much they will use everything you do, everything you say in a way that they can create a huge database to control you, to sell you stuff, but more important, to know who you are and to try to also psychologically condition you. If you use it right though, you can fight back through Facebook, through YouTube, through all their Twitter. Use it till they block you, but use it. Don't just entertain yourself. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to have a little fun. I play music. I do other stuff too. I'm not just here to fight a new world order. We also have to rest up and enjoy life. But at the same time, I tell you, what we are facing here as a threat is real. It is not just some parts of the world somewhere far away in another galaxy. This is happening here, everywhere. And we're already at this stage. We don't need to wait 100 years. We're already here. And I'm really concerned for our sons and daughters. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm on the air. That's why I'm sharing this information with you. That's why I realize even I'm not the best person to do it. I don't have the skills that many other people may have. I don't have the English grammar. I am whatever. See you next Sunday. Ciao.